Hi everyone, it's Sintang Mayumi. I made 10 Christmas cards today using pattern papers. These cards are super simple because I didn't have to create my backgrounds. Instead, I use pattern papers. The only time consuming is coloring the images, but you can color your images while you're watching a TV or maybe listening to audiobooks. The paper pad I'm using is the 12 by 12 Christmas Noel paper pad. I got this at Michael's a few years ago, and I don't think I used it yet. I think it's my first time to use it. I think this is the only 12 by 12 paper pad that I have now. I gave all my 12 by 12 Christmas paper pads to my neighbor before we left Alaska because she also does scrapbooks and crafting like me. And I don't use 12 by 12 often, so I just gave it all to her. I love these Christmas paper patterns. I'm sure I will use them again on cards for backgrounds. The stamp set I use are Pink and Main Gingerbread stamp set. I use the Gingerbread house. I also use Art Impression Merriest Christmas stamp set, and I just use the Santa Claus image. This one is the Stamping Bella Teeny Tiny Townie collection, hot chocolate, and this one is rubber stamp. I also use W+9 Christmas Nutcracker, and I use the Christmas tree. And the last one is Knit and Tangled Very Merry stamp set. I use the adorable bear from the stamp set. I colored my images off camera while watching YouTube videos, and I use my zig markers to color them. I also went ahead and cut all my pattern papers off camera, and some of these papers I didn't use on my cards, like the strips of pattern papers, like this ones here, and the peace and joy. I didn't use those ones on my cards. But what you can do is you can layer them on your cards, or you can put them inside the cards. And here are all my colored images. I also went ahead and die cut them with the coordinating die. Some of them I just fussy cut, like the gingerbread house and this cup of joy with marshmallow and the Santa Claus. I also have my Merry Christmas sentiments ready to go. I emboss it with Wow Opaque bright white embossing powder on red and green cardstock scraps, and this Merry Christmas sentiment is from Waffle Flower homemade Christmas stamp set. Now let's assemble the cards. I'm using my ATG gun because it's much faster than using double-sided tape. But you can also use liquid glue. My card bases are from Paper Tree ink cardstock cut to 11 by 4 and 1/4 inches, and I score them in half, and that will give me A2 size top folding card base. And for my images, I'm going to pop them up with foam tape. For my first two cards, I'm going to adhere the pattern papers on top of each other, and I'm using my ATG gun here to adhere them on the cards, and I'm going to place my bear in the middle of the border, flourish border. I don't know what you call that one, but I'm just removing the release paper on the other bear, and then we'll pop that up in the middle of the border, or what do you call that one? I don't know. For these first cards, I'm going to add the Merry Christmas sentiments inside the cards because I don't want to cover the pretty poinsettia border on the bottom of the card. then it's just a repetition of adhering the papers or pattern papers on the card base. So this ones here in the first cards, I'm layering 2 pattern papers together on top of each other. And once I add the pattern papers, I then remove the release paper from the foam tape, and I will adhere the Santa Claus on top of the Merry Christmas or above the Merry and Bright sentiment. For the inside of the card, I'm using Paper Tree Ink Holiday Stamp Set, and I'm gonna use one of the sentiments from that set and ink it up with Versafine Onyx black ink, and I'm going to place it in the middle of the card, inside the card. For this next cards, I'm going to do the same thing that like what I did on the first and second cards. I'm going to add my pattern papers on my card base, and then adhere my gingerbread house. And the gingerbread house will also pop up with foam tape. I will also do the same thing on these cards. I'm going to stamp a sentiment from Paper Tree Ink in the middle of the inside the cards. These ornament pattern papers are really pretty. The other one doesn't have layer on the back of it because I ran out, but it still looks nice. I will add the images in the middle of the ornaments with foam tape and add Merry Christmas sentiment under the images. So I'm just removing all the release paper here and we'll pop that up in the middle of the ornament. And these last ones, I use 2 of the small pieces of pattern paper strips and layer them on top of the bigger pattern papers. And then I will add the Christmas tree on the plaid banner, and then for this banner here, I'm going to add the Joy chocolate mug, and then I will place the Merry Christmas sentiments on the lower part of the card. For the inside of the cards, I did the same thing. Stamp the paper tree ink sentiment in the middle of the card. And as you can see, I made a mistake here. So I didn't check my card base before adding the pattern papers. I was trying to remove it from the card base, but I just cut it and I just place it on another card base. And I think that way is much easier. And my Christmas cards are finished. I hope you liked today's card video and let me know which one is your favorite from the 10 Christmas cards that I made today. As always, thank you so much for watching and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.